Welcome to our last session this month. To wrap up our discussion on the fruit of the Spirit, this session will focus on self-control. Is there currently something in your life that you are striving to have self-control over? Having self-control is difficult, but it is necessary in all circumstances. When we fail to have control over our habits, our words, or our actions, it is detrimental to ourselves, to our relationship with others, or even to our relationship with God. In moments when we lose control over ourselves, we give the devil something to use against us. We give him the knowledge of the specific things that tempt us to ignore self-control, and he knows that in these moments, we are not allowing ourselves to be led by the Holy Spirit. From there, the devil does not have to do much to urge us farther down the path of giving in to our desires and passions. He will have an easier time of encouraging us to have more moments of no self-control, while at the same time we will feel even more defeated because of our lack of control. It is as Proverbs 25:28 says, "Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls." When we have no rule over ourselves, anything can get in, and we will have a hard time protecting ourselves. Hence, our lack of self-control causes us to sin, and ultimately, we will be further separated from God. There are many situations where our self-control will be tested. These can fall anywhere on a spectrum of deciding how much we may eat or drink, choosing to use words of love or sarcastic words that will cause pain, allowing reactions of anger or pride to overtake us, or giving in to sins such as theft or adultery. Some moments where we lack self-control may seem innocent or rational, given the circumstances. However, can these small, seemingly inconsequential decisions lead to bigger, more frequent decisions that cause us to falter on the path that God has set for us? Each time we lose control of our habits, instincts, or desires, it can cause the walls around us to crumble. Knowing this, we must have courage to struggle against ourselves so that we can become the new creature spoken of in 2 Corinthians 3:18. But we all, with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as by the Spirit of the Lord. Since self-control is essential in guarding ourselves and maintaining our relationship with others and with God, how do we stop ourselves from losing our control? When the Holy Spirit leads us, and we are truly honest with ourselves and aware of the things that can cause us to lose control, then we can strive to guard our thoughts or our desires. We can stay determined to have self-control. However, it is important to note that we can do all things, and yet we will at some point experience failure. This is because true self-control can only come from the Spirit. After all, self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. It does not come from within us. Our victory in practicing self-control comes from being led by the Holy Spirit. As imperfect humans, it is easy to be selfish and give in to our desires. That is why self-control can be so hard to maintain. However, the Holy Spirit is not beholden to our desires. So when he dwells within us and we give him space to work inside of us, then he can transform our desires into something that aligns with God's will. When we are focused on living a life directed toward God and his will, we will find that it becomes easier to practice self-control in the future. We can look to the temptation that Jesus faced in the wilderness. In this moment, Jesus exercised self-control when tempted by the devil with food after having fasted for 40 days. He could have given in to the temptation, but he didn't. Why? Christ knew his identity as the Son of God and his mission to do his Father's will. These things didn't falter when Christ faced temptation, and for him, they were above everything else, and so he was able to maintain control and have victory. We are children of God, and we also have a mission to serve others and God. We want this to be our focus because this knowledge will help us practice self-control. When we let go of ourselves and our own desires or instincts, and we allow the Holy Spirit to increase in us, then we can come to rely more on God and His power to guide us in moments when we need self-control.